Shalom. Apostle Hawk coming back at you with the truth, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Rakakwadash. And I'm going to entitle this video, The Soul and the Spirit Are One and the Same. And this is, this video was, I got the idea to do this video. I saw one video earlier from the up-and-coming elder, Manata Zakba. And he was speaking about these former individuals from the GMS Houston camp that broke off, and now they're kind of doing their own thing. Just like what all of them do. When they break off, all of a sudden, everything that they learned, all of a sudden, we had it wrong, and they got it right, and we got to come up under them, and they're the authorities, and the Most High is dealing directly with them. And then they fade away after a while. And then the up-and-coming elder Yashawamba did a response to the video that Manata Zakba did. So I kind of watched some of it, and I kind of got mad, and I said, well, I got to do a response on this, because if those guys understood the scriptures, they wouldn't. They said, I mean, I didn't see all the scriptures. I just heard part of it, of what they said. But I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna go all into it and listen to every video. Bear with me for a minute. Let me plug this in. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, these guys are saying that the soul and the spirit, like you have the body, which the body dies, it goes into the grave. Then you have the spirit that goes up into the heavens, and then you got the soul, which is basically like basically like purgatory, what the Catholics refer to as purgatory, the best way to describe it. There's two parts to man, let's say. You have the body, the human body, the physical body, that you need nourishment and hydration, and you need air to breathe, and blood to flow through your body, and so forth and so on. And that's what keeps your body alive. The fact that you got to eat something, and your body tells you, oh, you're hungry, your stomach growls, or to eat, or you desire to eat. Now in the spiritual realm, you don't eat. Now there's references in the scriptures about having feasts in heaven and all that. The angels don't eat. The angels have a different body from men on the earth, and that's in 1 Corinthians the 15th chapter, and I may go into that later in the video. I may or may not, it's no big deal. But anyway, because I got a feeling this topic is going to lead me to a lot of precepts, because when you go to one precept and you look it up, it leads you to another precept. Anyway, what I want to read is the same scripture that the up-and-coming elder Yashawamba read. He opened up with Revelation the 6th chapter about the altar. Now the thing that goes to the altar is the soul and the spirit. The soul and the spirit are basic. Sometimes you come across the word soul, sometimes you come across the word spirit, but it means the same thing. You don't have a soul that goes one place, a spirit that goes another place, and your body goes to the grave. Your body separates from your spirit. You got a soul going over here, he's taking a trip over there, and the spirit's going someplace else. Which just came to mind. The Apostle Paul going into the spiritual realm, going into the third heaven, if you will, the fourth dimension, heaven itself, the spiritual realm, and that's where your soul and your spirit go to. Okay, so now it says here in Revelation 6 verse 9, and when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that was slain, killed for the word of the Most High and for the testimony which they held. Now I was doing some studying on some of the apostles. I was reading up on Peter, the apostle Peter, and I was also reading up on the apostle Paul. Now they were both put to death by the Roman authority, which the Caesar at that time was this guy Nero. Now Nero, when you do any research on Nero, Nero was became famous or infamous for burning down the city of Rome and playing his lyre, which they said he said that he played his fiddle while Rome burned. Well, it wasn't a fiddle; it was a lyre, which was like a fiddle, a stringed instrument. And then he, in other words, he caused that great fire to take place. He was behind it, and he was like, hey, he was chilling. You know, I'm a party. I'm a drink. I'm a play my my lyre. Because I think he came before he became the emperor. I believe one of his hobbies was playing that lyre. And then he turned around and he blamed it on the Christians. And when you go to Google and you put in Nero burnt down Rome, it tells you that he blamed it on the Christians, which were unpopular. So Peter and Paul, the apostle Peter and the apostle Paul, were considered Christians. What does it say in Acts? What is that? Acts 11:26. They were called Christians first in Antioch. Now the actual word there was Messiahites or Mashak Mashak-ya or Mashak-ya, meaning Messiahites or Christites, people that followed the Messiah. So the word Christian came about later. So you know when you read that information in Google or wherever you go to read it, it says that Nero burnt down Rome and turned around and blamed on the Christians, and that was a justification in killing the Peter, Paul, and some of the rest of the apostles, and the only one that was left was John the apostle, and the Most High preserved him so he can be on the Isle of Patmos, and he was up in age, and they were all up in age. That he can get these revelations and write it in a book called the Book of Revelation to give to the 7 churches of Asia Minor. So that's why John remained alive, because the Most High preserved him. And even there's a scripture that I just realized, like I see it now, where the Lord told Peter that how he was going to die, but I'm not going to go into that right now. So he prophesied his death, but that's something that scholars kind of came up with, and it makes sense. I'll go through it in another video. I'm not gonna go into that subject right now. That's going into another subject anyway. There's so many subjects out there. Anyway, it says Revelation 6 verse 9, and when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar that's in the heavens the souls of, because there's an altar up there in the spiritual realm, the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High. So who are some of these souls? Peter was one, James was another, the apostle Paul was another, And all of the 12, the apostles except for John, they were all up there. And then he later died. Now it said in Revelation the 10th chapter that he will go and prophesy again before many kings and nations and tongues, but now that never happened. There's no record of that. So what is that talking about? Talking about reincarnation. So anyway, it says, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High and for the testimony which they held. And they started getting put to death, Peter, Paul, and the rest of the apostles. And the first one was James. That was James, the brother of John. He was the first to get put to death in the book of Acts. What is that? Acts 12 and 4. And that was under the orders of Herod. But the Peter and Paul was put to death under the orders of Nero. And I was doing some research on I put Nero, Trump and Nero are one and the same. So a bunch of sites popped up, and that's a whole nother topic. And they kept saying, they kept comparing this guy to Nero. They said you have writers in history, even this historian, what is this guy's name? Santonius, I forget his name, something to that effect. I mean, I can always look it up. He said he basically described Nero, and basically it was pretty much describing Trump, you know. So I mean, I'll do that on another subject, or you can look it up on your own if the Spirit's on me. But it was ironic. They said that Trump, if Trump was any of the Caesars back then, they said two names. They said he would either be Caligula or Nero, but they lean more towards Nero. And Nero, you know, when you read the account, he deliberately burnt. Here he is the Caesar, right? Here Rome is the capital of the empire, and here he is burning down Rome. Why would you do that? Well, it was later said that he said, I'm going to use that to get these Christians, which are Israelites, the unpopular Christians, which they're trying to make us unpopular. That's what they're doing now. Anyway, it says, let me get back into this. I saw on the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High and for the testimony which they held. Us going out there teaching. Every time we go out there, we're bringing out a testimony. You know, we're witnesses of the scriptures. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long? These are these souls that are in heaven, that are under the altar. O Lord, or Yahweh, holy and true, doeth thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And that's the same thing that Abel said when he was slew by his brother Cain. Because when his spirit left his body and his soul, he saw the person. You know, it's like that movie Ghost. You leave your body, but you can see, but you can't get back at a person. So that's what Abel saw when he got hit over the head or whatever, and when his spirit was leaving his body, he looked down and he saw his brother Cain. And as soon as he went before the Father, he said Cain did it. And then the Most High, you know the story, Genesis the 4th chapter. Then the Most High said, "Am I not my brother's?" Like that. I don't gotta watch out for him. Fuck him. That was his attitude, and that's the spirit of Esau. So Cain came back as Esau. Okay, so it says 10th verse, and they cry with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Yahweh, holy and true, doeth thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? That's as soon as you get before the Father, you complain about when you're going to take these devils out. But the Most High is subject to his prophecies. So y'all got to pray that that chip hurry up and come. That chip is really a blessing for us, because as soon as that chip come, then all that's everything gonna move quick. It says, and with white robes were given unto, now these are spiritual white robes. So what John saw was the spirits in the form of bodies in the spiritual realm putting on white robes. Now when you go to Daniel, the 7th chapter and the 9th verse, it tells you that the Most High is going to wear a white robe, and he's going to be sitting on the throne. And that was a vision. So when you see a vision of angels and so forth, you see them with clothes on. You ain't going to see them butt naked. Okay, so it says, because there's order up in heaven. You know, then the Lord's Prayer says, on earth as it is in heaven. There's order up in the heavens, so there's got to be order on the earth. Even Esau won't stand for people walking around butt naked. There's an order even in this wicked kingdom. It says, and white robes were given, 11th verse, unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed. And so they were killing a lot of the so-called Christians, as they were, should be fulfilled. So now let's look up the word soul. Let's look at the word soul. Soul or souls.
Strong's G 5590. Psuche. Psuche.
Psuche. Which means breath, the breath of life, the vital force which animates the body and shows itself breathing. That's your actual spirit. Of animals, of men, life, that is which there is life. A living being. What makes a being live? The fact that they have a spirit in them, which is also called a soul. It says a living being, a living soul, the seat of the feelings, desires, affections. Well, feelings is what? Emotions, right? So what did these souls do when they went before the face of the Most High? They yelled at the Most High, like, when you gonna take this? So they have emotions. When Abel was slain by Cain, his brother, he had emotions. He said, man, my brother did this. Now Adam and Eve didn't know about it because Abel wasn't able to go to their parents, Adam and Eve. It says the seat of the feelings. Now I don't know whether the Most High opened their eyes up to the fact that it was Cain, but they raised up Cain. You know, it says and then they had another brother, Seth. The seat of the feelings, desires, affections, aversions, our heart, our soul. Heart meaning your mind, and your mind is where the spirit is. The eyes are the spirit to the soul, the spirit to the soul, the spirit. It says the human soul, in so far as it is constituted, that by the right use of the aids offered it by the Most High, it can attain its highest end and secure eternal blessedness. The soul, regarded as a moral being designed to everlasting life. So the soul never dies. You know, you kill somebody, the soul, you can't kill the soul. That's in Matthew. Fear not them that can destroy the body. The soul as an essence which differs from the body and is not dissolved by death. So you can never kill the spirit, distinguished from other parts of the body. So now I just read, let me go back to this. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me do it this way. Okay, here it is right here. Matthew 10 verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. Because what is a soul? Another word for the soul is a spirit. But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell or in the grave. Matthew 10 verse 39. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loses his life for my sake shall find it. So another name for soul is life. Once that spirit leaves that body, whether you choked on a chicken bone or you drown in the water, after a while your spirit separates from your body. Your soul separates from your body. So there's many scriptures on this particular word. Oh, it says here in Matthew 26 verse 38. Then saith he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. So this is the account of the Lord before he was going to give up the spirit. It said, then saith he unto them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. Okay, Mark 10 verse 45. For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister. And the minister meaning to teach. When we minister to people, we're teaching them. And to give his life. The word life is G5590, which is the same word for soul, which is your spirit. A ransom for many, the many in Israel. Okay, so now what I wanted to do was I wanted to go to I believe it's 1 Corinthians 12. We'll find out in a minute. And then I'm going to look up the word spirit, see what the Greek word is, and then I'm going to look up the word soul and spirit in the Hebrew. Okay, I'm sorry. It's second. It's 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 12. Okay, I'll start from the first verse. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 1. It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of Yahweh. I knew a man in Yahushai. He's talking about himself above 14 years ago. Now, when you go back 14 years ago, he was stoned to death. So So you know, when you do the math, that was a time when he was, because he actually died. He was stoned to death and put out of the city, and they left him for dead because he actually died. His spirit left his body, but the Most High put the spirit back in his body to continue the ministry. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me go ahead and get it. Bear with me for a minute. Let's see if it'll pop up this way. I know it's in the book of Acts. Okay, here it is. Acts 14 verse 19. And there came thither certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium, who persuaded the people, and having stoned Paul, drew him out of the city, supposing he had been dead, which he did die. His spirit actually left his body, but then the Most High put the spirit back in his body. So it says here, 2 Corinthians 12 verse 2, I knew a man in Yahushai about 14 years ago, whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell, the Most High knoweth. Now I did this years ago. That it wasn't my will to do it. There's a thing called astral projection, which I actually experienced a couple of times. Let me Astro Pro, right, to astral project. Astral projection is a term used in esotericism to describe an intentional, in my case it was unintentional, out-of-body experience, where the thing that you experience is your spirit leaving your body but being connected to your body, like a spiritual umbilical cord that assumes the existence of a soul or consciousness, soul, spirit, or consciousness, called an astral body. Your spirit is an astral body that is separated from the physical body and capable of traveling outside it throughout the universe. Now, I never went out to outer space, but I flew around. It says the idea of astral travel is ancient and occurs in multiple cultures. Well, we're reading about that now with Paul. The modern terminology of astral projection was coined and promoted by the 19th century theosophists. It is sometimes reported in association with dreams, right? Because sometimes you think you're dreaming, but sometimes you're actually your spirit is leaving your body, which is astral projection. So I mean, if you want to read more on that, you can. But that's what the best way to describe what Paul experienced was astral projection, because his spirit or his soul left his body and went into the fourth dimension, which is heaven itself, the spiritual realm of heaven. But he always had a connection to the body, so the Most High brought that spirit back into his body. It says, I knew a man in Yahushua above 14 years, whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell, the Most High knoweth. Such a man caught up to the third heaven. The third heaven represents what? You have our heaven, which is this atmosphere. You have outside of the ozone layer, which is space. The third heaven would be the fourth dimension. So you have front and back, side to side, and up and down, right? And then you have the fourth dimension, which is beyond the physical realm, outside the physical realm. And there's an actual spiritual body for us in the heavens, eternal in the heavens. It says, and I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. The Most High knoweth how that he was caught up into paradise. Let me look up the word paradise. I mean, I can end this video. We already got it. We know that there ain't no soul that's in purgatory. Paradise. Okay, the last definition is heaven, or heaven itself. It says the upper region of the heavens, according to the early church fathers, the paradise in which our first parents dwelt before the fall. Well, that's talking about paradise on the earth, neither on the earth or in the heavens, but above and beyond the world. Yeah, that's heaven itself. Or it says here the part of Hades. Now Hades means grave, which was thought by the latter Jews to be the abode of the souls of pious until the resurrection, but some understand this to be a heavenly paradise. When you die, I don't care if you're an Edomite, I don't care if you're a Moabite, we all go up into the heavens. We all go up into the fourth generation, the fourth dimension. Now let me go back. Okay, it says how he was caught up in the paradise and heard unspeakable words, which is not lawful for a man to utter. Now that didn't mean that whatever you see, don't tell nobody. It meant that he couldn't describe it with words. He said this place was so magnificent that he couldn't even put it in. You went to a place that was so great. Well, what is it like? I can't. This is just great, but great like what? It's beyond anything on the planet Earth, and this is why these Edomites, they want to have that blessing, which, like I said, blame it on Esau. That should be a song. Blame it on Esau, man. Blame it on your daddy. He was the one that lacked integrity and gave up his birthright for a meal. I mean, could just shit deal with it, man. And that show you this the spirit of an Edomite. Of such an one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in mine infirmities. Now his infirmities was his body. There was a thorn to his side, and they don't know if it was a physical thorn or some other thing. It doesn't go into it. Scholars will argue on that. But just like we all have ailments, man. You know, you might have a bad knee, you might have a bad shoulder from a football injury. These bodies are weak. These bodies are very weak. Now, when the Apostle Paul went up into the heavens, he didn't feel no pain. And this was just wonderful, beautiful. Something that he couldn't describe in words. That's why he said unlawful to even utter. In other words, he couldn't bring words together. So that's the spirit and the soul, which is the same thing. The soul and the spirit thing. And then you have the body. So now let's go to one more. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 5. See, the reason why these guys are teaching and saying that we going off and the Spirit is dealing with them, well, I'm going to read it. Matthew 13. I'm going to start at the 10th verse. Matthew 13 verse 10. And his disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said, that's why Esau can't understand this book. And he answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. The Most High gave us this book in the form of mysteries, of riddles. And you have to have the spiritual key, or the magic eye to see them scriptures. But to them it is not given. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Therefore, 13th verse, speak I to them in parables, because they see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. It says 14th verse, and in them is fulfilled the prophecy of, that's prophecy. Anybody that comes into this circle of GMS or come into this truth, and then they leave for some reason, and they call themselves still teaching the truth and coming up against us, attacking us, well, that's a fulfillment of a prophecy. It says Isaiah, which saith, By hearing ye shall hear and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see and shall not perceive, for this people's heart is waxed gross. And that's from Isaiah the 6th chapter. So now we in 2 Corinthians 5, and I'll start from 1. It says, for we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle be dissolved, which is your body, you get sick and you die, you get old and you die, you get struck by lightning and you die, a building fall on your ass and you die, you choke on the chicken bone and you die, because that body dissolves, because there's no spirit in it, there's no life force in that body. And see, Esau can never, and with all the technology that they have, they can't bring back the dead, and they'll never be able to bring back the dead. But Yahweh Shai was able to do it. Elijah was able to do it. Peter was able to do it. He raised up Dorcas. Read about that. She died. She was one of the saints that died, and Peter raised her back up. It says, and we're going to get that spirit, that power too. We have a building of the Most High. What does it mean, a building of the Most High? There's a spiritual body in the heavens. That spirit goes to that spiritual body, and I can't explain what it is, because we'll know in time. There's an actual body in the heavens. And house, and the word abode is house, but the word abode from the word Latin bodig, which means the body. So there's a physical body and there's a spiritual body. When you come back to the earth, you come back in a physical body. Either you're born as a baby, or the angels come down in the form of men. They take on the likeness of a man. It says, in house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For in this we groan, earnestly desiring to be closed upon with our house which is from heaven. 3rd verse, if so be that being clothed we shall not be found naked. For we that are in this tabernacle do groan. The tabernacle meaning our physical bodies, being burdened. There's a lot of people want to. This one chick, Edomite, looked like an Edomite chick. She committed suicide because she felt she didn't have enough cyber friends, enough likes on her post, and she got depressed and she killed herself. And there's a lot of women out there contemplating killing themselves, man, because somebody says something to them on social media and they get so depressed that they commit suicide. There was one guy, I think it was the Edomite, he killed. There was a couple of motherfuckers, man, they killed themselves right on the internet live. You got some hurting people in this world, man, especially Edomites. It said, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon that mortality meaning death, might be swallowed up of life, real life, which is the spiritual realm. Now he that hath wrought us for the self same thing is the Most High, who also have given unto us the earnest of the Spirit. The reason why we go out there in the highways and the byways is because the Most High put the Spirit on us to do it. Anybody that doesn't feel it no more, the Most High took the Spirit from you. Therefore we are always confident, knowing that whilst we are at home in the body, this body, we are absent from Yahweh. Because what did Cain do? First thing he did, he was in the presence of Yahweh, and he complained to Yahweh about getting vengeance. What did the apostles do, or the men of the Lord do in Revelation 6 and 9? The first thing that they did, they complained to the Most High. When you going to take this devil down? For we walk by faith, not by sight. We are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with Yahweh. Wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. So while we in this physical body, you do the work. That's your first priority. It says in the 10th verse, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Yahweh Shai, that everyone may receive the things done in his body. Well, that goes to Exodus 20 verse 4 and 5. You're going to come back. Whatever sin that you commit, you're going to pay for it in your third and fourth generation. That's reincarnation right there. So when a person comes back blinded or crippled or messed up in the body, that's because they did something wicked in the past that the Most High said, okay, I'm going to get you back when you come back. So anyway, with that, I think I said enough. I think I said a little too much. But anyway, I went through a couple of scriptures, I could have went through the word spirit, which is no big deal. Spirit. Matter of fact, let me do that. Since I said I was going to do it. Everything is in the scriptures. Okay, spirit. I want to look at spirit in the New Testament. Okay, let me try 1 Corinthians 14 verse 14. For if I pray in an unknown tongue, my spirit prayeth, but my understanding is unfruitful. The spirit is the inner you, which is the soul. Spirit. G4151.
Strong's G 4151. Pneuma.
The third person of the triune power, the Holy Spirit, co-equal, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, sometimes referred to in a way which emphasizes his personality and character. The Holy Spirit, sometimes referred to. Okay, here's a good one. Never referred to as a depersonalized force. The spirit, i.e., the vital principle by which the body is animated. Didn't we read that about the soul? The thing that makes the body animated, that makes the body move. So spirit and soul is the same thing. The rational spirit, the power by which the human being feels, thinks, decides. Didn't they say that about the soul? Oh, here it is. It says, a human soul that has left the body. A spirit higher than man but lower than the Most High, i.e. an angel, because angels are spirits. We are spirit, the angels that left their first estate. We are the angels that left our first estate in these chains of darkness. Because at one time you didn't know that you were Israelite. You was in a chain of darkness, and the Most High loosen up that chain, that you see that you're an Israelite, but you're still in those chains. But you know why you're in those chains, in these messed up bodies. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. It's on to the next one.